July 16th, 1950, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. 200,000 people packed into the Maracana Stadium, the largest crowd ever to watch a football match in human history. Brazil needed just 1 point to win the World Cup, one draw against Uruguay. What happened next broke an entire nation, and the shockwaves are still felt today, 74 years later. Welcome back to Mind Vault. This is the night football died. The unbeatable. Brazil. Brazil in 1950 was not just a football team. They were a symbol of national pride, of joy, of everything the Brazilian people believed about themselves. They had scored 21 goals in the tournament, conceded just 4. They had destroyed Sweden 7-1, Spain 6-1. The Brazilian government had already printed championship newspapers. Medals had been made with the players' names on them. The president had publicly declared, "Our players will be champions." 200,000 people came to the Maracana the day not to watch a match. They came to celebrate. The match begins. The whistle blew. Brazil attacked from the first minute. Uruguay defended desperately. 47th minute, Brazil scored. Friata, the Maracana erupted. 200,000 people screaming as one. The party had begun. But Uruguay did not collapse. Their captain, Obdulio Varela, picked up the ball after the goal, walked slowly to the center circle, and said to his players, "The match has not finished." 66th minute, Juan Schiaffino. Uruguay equalized. The Maracana went silent. 200,000 people. Complete silence. 79th minute, Alcides Gigia received the ball on the right wing. Brazil goalkeeper Moacir Barbosa moved to cover the cross. Gigia did not cross. He shot. The ball entered the net. Uruguay 2, Brazil 1. The silence that shook the world. What happened next has never been seen before or since in the history of sport. 200,000 people did not boo, did not riot, did not scream. They wept. Grown men collapsed in the stands. Women fainted. Children sat frozen, not understanding what had happened. Jules Rimet, the president of FIFA, had prepared a speech in Portuguese to congratulate Brazil. He quietly put it back in his pocket. He later said, "I have never felt so alone in a crowd in my life." The Uruguayan players did not celebrate on the pitch. They were afraid, surrounded by 200,000 people whose hearts had just been destroyed. The men who never recovered. 3 Brazilian players never recovered from that night. Goalkeeper Moacir Barbosa spent the rest of his life being blamed. Strangers would point at him in the street and say, "That is the man who made Brazil cry." He was never selected for Brazil again. He died in 2000, poor, forgotten, and still haunted. His last words were, "The maximum sentence in Brazil is 30 years. I have been paying for 50. Big God. The Brazilian defender was beaten by his own teammates in the dressing room after the match. And Friata, the man who scored Brazil's only goal, reportedly never spoke about that day for the rest of his life. The curse of the Maracanazo. Brazilians called it the Maracanazo, the Maracana blow. For decades, the Brazilian national team refused to wear white, the color they wore that day. They switched to yellow and blue, a superstition born from trauma. In 2014, Brazil hosted the World Cup again at the same Maracana Stadium, and in the semifinal, Germany destroyed them 7-1. Brazilian commentators wept live on television. Fans sat in silence, just like 1950. Some wounds never truly heal. One match, one goal, one moment of silence that lasted decades. The 1950 World Cup final was not just a football match. It was a moment an entire nation learned that greatness can be taken away in 79 minutes. If this story moved you, subscribe to Mind Vault, because the greatest stories in history are not in textbooks. They are in moments like this. See you next week.